The spaceport on Terminus Station bustled with the usual chaos of interstellar commerce. Merchants haggled over prices in a dozen languages. Cargo loaders rumbled past with their antigraph pallets, and travelers from 100 worlds pushed through the crowd with single-minded determination. No one noticed the small figure huddled against the base of a support column. Her silver blood pooling on the grated floor. Captain James Reed had seen plenty of suffering in his 15 years working the outer colonies. He had learned, like everyone else, that survival meant keeping your head down and your business to yourself. The universe was cruel, and those who tried to play hero usually ended up dead or broke. But something about the pale blue form slumped in the shadows made him pause mid-stride. She was young, perhaps the equivalent of 20 in human years, with delicate features and 4 arms that trembled as she clutched at a deep wound in her side. Her skin held an iridescent quality that marked her as Velanthi, one of the most advanced species in the known galaxy. The torn fabric of her clothing glittered with crystalline threads that only royalty could afford. James glanced around. Dozens of beings passed within meters of her, their eyes sliding away as if she were invisible. A human merchant actually stepped over her outstretched leg without breaking stride. The unspoken rule of the station was clear. Someone else's problem. He should walk away. His ship needed repairs, his crew needed paying, and he had a cargo run scheduled that could finally pull him out of debt. Getting involved with injured aliens, especially noble ones, was a guaranteed way to find trouble. The woman's eyes flickered open, revealing golden irises that fixed on him with desperate intensity. She tried to speak, but only a wet cough emerged, more silver blood staining her lips. James cursed under his breath and knelt beside her. "Easy now. Let me see that wound." Her body tensed at his approach, but she lacked the strength to resist as he carefully peeled back the torn fabric. The injury was worse than he had feared, a plasma burn that had seared through several layers of tissue. Without medical attention soon, she would die right here on this filthy floor while thousands walked by. "Can you stand?" he asked, knowing she probably could not understand standard English. But hoping his tone conveyed the question, she shook her head weakly, then reached up with one trembling hand to touch a small device at her throat. When she spoke again, a translation matrix kicked in, rendering her words in his language. "They will kill me if they find me. Please, leave me. I do not wish to bring danger upon you." "Too late for that," James muttered, sliding his arms beneath her. She weighed almost nothing, her species possessing a hollow bone structure that made them remarkably light. "I'm taking you to my ship." The journey through the station took 20 minutes that felt like hours. James kept to the less traveled corridors, his heart pounding every time a security drone drifted past. The woman drifted in and out of consciousness, occasionally murmuring words the translator could not parse. His ship, the Wayward Sun, was a battered freighter that had seen better decades. But it was his, paid for with blood and sweat, and it had a functioning medical bay. He laid her on the examination table and let the automated system scan her injuries. The readout made him wince. Internal bleeding, severe tissue damage, and the beginning stages of plasma poisoning. He initiated the treatment protocol, watching as mechanical arms extended to clean and seal the wound. The woman gasped as the pain suppressors kicked in, her 4 hands clenching into fists. "Who did this to you?" James asked once the immediate crisis had passed. She turned her head to look at him, those golden eyes studying his face with unnerving intensity. "You know what I am. The markings on my skin, the quality of my clothing. Yet you helped me anyway. I saw someone who needed help. The rest doesn't matter much." A sound that might have been a laugh escaped her lips. "The rest matters a great deal, human. I am Princess Lyra of the Velanthi Ascendancy. The wound you see was given to me by my own brother, who seeks to claim the throne through my death. I fled across 3 systems before my ship was destroyed above this station. I managed to reach the docks, but no one would aid me. They saw my royal marks and feared the political entanglements. James pulled up a chair and sat down heavily. So helping you is going to bring an assassination squad down on my head. Most likely, she agreed. Which is why you should leave me here and forget this happened. Take your ship and go. I will not blame you. He should do exactly that. Every logical part of his brain screamed at him to dump her at the nearest medical facility and burn thrust away from this mess. Instead, he found himself pulling up the navigation console. Where do you need to go? Lyra stared at him. You would truly help me? Knowing the cost? My mother once told me that we define ourselves by what we do when no one is watching. Right now, everyone on that station chose to look away from someone in need. I'd rather not be that person. He shrugged. Besides, I've been in worse scrapes. You are either very brave or very foolish. Probably both, James admitted. Now, where am I taking you? Over the next hour, Lyra explained her situation, while the medical bay worked to stabilize her injuries. Her brother, Prince Vorin, had orchestrated a coup, killing their father and seizing control of the military. Only Lyra's personal guard had given her time to escape, sacrificing themselves to buy her precious minutes. She needed to reach the Outer Council on Velen Prime, where Loyalist forces still held power. With her testimony, they could challenge Vorin's claim to the throne. The journey will take 8 days through hyperspace, she said. Your ship is not fast, but it is anonymous. That may be our greatest advantage. James began the preflight sequence, his hands moving through the familiar motions. You realize that every bounty hunter in this sector will be looking for you by now. I do. My brother will have placed a substantial reward on my head, enough to make you wealthy beyond measure, should you choose to collect it. He glanced back at her through the medical bay window. She had managed to sit up, her 4 arms wrapped around her torso as the healing systems finished their work. Even injured and exhausted, there was a regal quality to her bearing that spoke of generations of nobility. Not interested in blood money, he said simply. Let's get you home. The wayward sun lifted from the dock with the grinding protest of engines that needed maintenance. James coaxed the ship into a launch trajectory, weaving through the orbital traffic with practiced skill. Behind them, Terminus Station fell away into the black. They had just entered the hyperspace transition corridor when the proximity alarm screamed. 3 attack fighters materialized from nowhere, their weapon systems already hot. Vorin's assassins had been faster than expected. Hold on, James shouted, throwing the ship into a hard turn that made the superstructure groan. Plasma bolts streaked past the viewports, close enough that he could see the glow through the hull plating. Lyra appeared at the cockpit entrance, steadying herself against the doorframe. They will destroy us. You must jettison me in an escape pod. Perhaps they will be satisfied with my death and let you go. Not happening, James growled, diving toward the gravity well of a nearby moon. The fighters followed, but his smaller ship could maneuver in ways their military craft could not. He skimmed the moon's surface at suicidal speeds, using canyons and ridgelines as cover. One fighter clipped a rock spire and exploded. The other 2 pulled back, reassessing their approach. James took the opening and punched the hyperspace motivators. The universe stretched and snapped, and suddenly they were away, racing through the iridescent tunnel of faster-than-light travel. Silence filled the cockpit. James slowly released his death grip on the controls and let out a shaky breath. That was too close. Lyra moved to stand beside his chair, one of her hands resting gently on his shoulder. You could have surrendered me. They would have paid you well and let you live. Yeah, well, I've never been good at taking the easy path. He looked up at her, managing a tired smile. 8 days to Velen Prime. Think we can make it? With you as my captain? I believe we might. Over the following week, an unlikely friendship formed between the human freighter captain and the alien princess. They shared stories of their worlds, their hopes, and their fears. Lyra spoke of the responsibility of leadership and her determination to bring justice to those who had fallen defending her. James told her of growing up on Earth, of the restless hunger that had driven him to the stars, and of the loneliness that came with a life spent between worlds. When they finally emerged from hyperspace above Velen Prime, a fleet of loyalist ships moved to escort them to the surface. Lyra stood at the viewport, her four hands pressed against the glass as she looked upon her homeworld for the first time in weeks. "I can never repay what you have done," she said quietly. "You gave me my life when no one else would." James shrugged, uncomfortable with the gratitude. "Just glad I could help." She turned to face him, and in that moment she was not a princess, but simply a young woman grateful to be alive. The universe is full of those who look away from suffering. Thank you for being someone who chose to look. As he watched her depart with her honor guard, surrounded by the ceremony and protection befitting her station, James Reed felt something he had not experienced in years, the certainty that he had done